Top of the day to you on What's the Word Have You Heard? Your word is the chip. The microchip. The microchip that we thought the whole world was on board with implanting these microchips in our bodies, between our thumb and our index, and you have this microchip that's implanted right there. But guess what? Almost over 50,000 people around the world today have this implant. Some people use it as like a house key card or some type of device that they would use, for credit or, paying different things. But, as we know, the biggest microchip is our phone. Not saying anything about, the bitten apple or the robot, So I'm just using this as an example. So not saying that this technology or the other technology is promoting this. I'm just only using this as a prop. Okay. So but like I say, some people use it as a swipe key or, for credit, or a house key or something like that. So, or I know it was a while back when they first came out with, oh, the government is trying to implant, microchips in the humans so they can know everything about us or whatever. But at one time they was doing it in the animals. I guess this was a testing, and they was doing it in the elderly because sometimes elderly, they tend to wander off if they have, Alzheimer's or dementia. So it was not necessarily as a GPS tracker. It was more so as a medical record thing, so they can like know who this person is and the medical, data that was on this particular chip that they had implanted. Or some people who love their animals, they would put a chip in there so they could figure out, oh, what happened to my, pet puppy or, pet cat or whatever animal that they had. So that's where particular that comes. But as for a GPS, um, I don't know, the technology had, increased because they saw that, sometimes these chips would hold some type of infection or some kind of medical condition that it would give off by implanting. I know in animals, they were saying that this particular chip was able to last up to like 25 years within or past the lifespan of an animal. So that's where that comes from. But not saying that it's not increasingly so, because 50,000 people is already on board and they say that it's increasing. So as they weigh out the pros and the cons of it, but I could tell you the biggest microchip that they have is the phone. Not necessarily saying that this particular phone, sorry, I'm just only using this as a prop. Not saying nothing about the bitten apple or saying anything about the robot. Okay, so our robot, or whether it's your bitten apple, not saying anything about those technologies. But what I can say about both is that it is already a tracking device. So if they want to GPS you, why should they implant it in your body? Because you already have the implant in your hand. The phone is always in your hand. You wake up to it. The first thing you do is start scrolling. So automatic data is already in there saying that, this is the time that you woke up and you was on this app, you was on that app, or when you lay it down, tell it where to go. It just tracks you all the way. I did not know I had visited 81 cities, in the past years. And I was like, what? It tracked all that, told me where I went, how many times. I was like, oh my word. And not only that, we usually put in the rest of the tracking. We tell them where we got to eat, whether we like it. We show them what we wear, this and that. Now they're making all kinds of AIs, scanning your face, what you look like. I mean, technology is always one step ahead of us, and we always one step behind, not knowing mentally that we are just giving them all the other information that they need to do in order to advance themselves. But look, what about advancing ourselves? So always stay tuned to What's the Word Have You Heard? That way you always be up on a word, things to help you increase, like a self-awareness or a spiritual reading. Girl, have you heard the word? Just period. Okay, so understand that about this particular device, they don't have to put a tracking device on you, because they already, and then you already give them the rest devices or information that they need. Okay, so just be mindful of that. And then also to the people who, I guess everything has its pros and cons. Because if you turn off your location, anything could happen, and then no one can say where you were, where you've been, or if you get, disappeared, they only can track you so far, because you, like young people, I understand sometimes you don't want parents to know where you are, or you want to go zip there and zip right back. And then sometimes things can happen in between. But you turned off your tracker and you decided not to let no one know that you creeping, or sneaking, however, which way you want to say. So just be mindful, on what's the word have you heard. Always stay tuned to always get your word. Well, blessings unto you and peace and love. And we are out.